Have you ever heard of a heist so clever, so daring, that it changed the course of history? Most people haven't. And yet, there's one astonishing tale from Renaissance Europe that remains astonishingly under the radar. This isn't your average bank robbery. This is the story of the greatest heist you've never heard of. The Antwerp diamond affair of 1579. Grab a seat, because this story is dazzling in more ways than one. Let's set the scene. It's the 16th century, and Antwerp is the bustling financial hub of Europe. Traders, bankers, and merchants from around the globe are flocking to this Belgian city, dealing in everything from spices to fabrics to, of course, diamonds. Antwerp is glittering, prosperous, and absolutely brimming with wealth. But with great wealth comes great intrigue. Among the many institutions in Antwerp is one high-security jewel depository owned by a powerful Jewish banking family. This family is known for their incredible gems, guardianship of wealthy clients' valuables, and their seemingly impenetrable vault. But as secure as the vault may seem, it becomes the centerpiece of one of the most audacious thefts in history. Our heist begins with a man named Jacob van Elfering. Jacob is a man of shadows and whispers, a thief by trade, and a brilliant one at that. But Jacob isn't your ordinary criminal. He's a master of disguise, a manipulator of human emotion, and, above all, a man of patience. Jacob had been meticulously planning his heist for over 5 years, watching every guard change, memorizing schedules, and even learning to imitate the distinct behaviors of customers who visited the vault. Now, Jacob wasn't alone in this grand scheme. Nope. Like any mastermind, he had a crew. His team consisted of 4 highly skilled individuals: a locksmith named Peter the Wrench, Margaret, a brilliant actress who often distracted guards with her charm, Conrad, a mapmaker adept at creating counterfeit blueprints, and finally, Hans, a muscle man who ensured that any physical barriers were, well, let's just say, moved. Together, they executed a series of smaller, calculated moves to set the stage for the Antwerp diamond affair. It all began with Peter creating an impeccably forged key. To do this, Margaret spent 3 months earning the trust of a key holder to gain access to the original. Her acting was so convincing, historians would later write that the key holder nearly proposed to her. Once Peter completed his key, the team still needed one last critical thing to execute their plan: timing. Antwerp, gleaming as it was also plagued by larger events, namely the raging 80 Years' War, a conflict between the Spanish and the emerging Dutch states. Jacob and his team realized that amidst the chaos, townspeople and guards often lowered their vigilance. They planned to strike during a night when Spanish troops were expected to occupy the city's southern gates. Here comes the clever part. Rather than storming in aggressively, Jacob's crew opted for deception. Hans struck up a friendship with an interior guard and persuaded him to share a drink on a payday evening. Wines were poured, spirits were high, and unbeknownst to the guard, the wine had been laced with a mild sedative. The guard soon fell into a heavy slumber, a slumber that gave Jacob and his team their critical window of opportunity. Guided by Conrad's counterfeit blueprints and maps, Jacob's team performed their synchronized ballet of crime. They gained entry without setting off alarms or alerting other guards. Peter's forged key worked like magic when they reached the first steel gate. When they encountered secondary locks, Peter worked his locksmithing wizardry, dismantling them silently in minutes. The heist's technical brilliance doesn't end here. The vault was also protected by a glass trigger mechanism designed to shatter upon any forced entry, thus alerting nearby guards. Jacob and Peter discovered this mechanism during their years of observation and devised a tool, a steel clamp, to avoid triggering the alarm. The tool immobilized the device so effectively that the guards were none the wiser for weeks that their vault had been compromised. When the crew finally reached their prize, it was nothing short of otherworldly, a collection of diamonds so vast and valuable that it was said to rival royal treasures. These weren't just shiny rocks, they were signifiers of enormous wealth and power. Jacob secured the diamonds, and the crew retreated unnoticed. Their route out of the city utilized underground tunnels that soldiers once used during sieges. All told, it was a masterpiece of criminal craftsmanship. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Most heists have a clear ending. Either the criminals escape with their haul or they're caught. The Antwerp diamond affair? A completely different story. The crew split up, with plans to reconvene later and divide the spoils. However, suspicions arose. Did Margaret take more than her share? Did Conrad sell precious jewels under the table? Rumors abound, but what followed was a cascade of betrayal. Jacob himself disappeared without a trace, taking much of the loot with him, or so the legend goes. Some say he fled to Istanbul. Others say he started a new life as an art dealer in Venice. And Margaret? Local lore claims she became a countess in Bohemia. The Antwerp diamond affair stands not only as an incredible feat of ingenuity, but also a tale of how even the best-laid plans can unravel through human weakness. But the story's aftermath didn't just affect the culprits. The robbery posed deep existential questions for the wealthy elite of Antwerp. Jewelers, bankers, and merchants demanded stronger security measures. Advanced vault systems were developed, and the science of locksmithing surged forward thanks to this one audacious act. Cities across Europe watched the Antwerp affair with keen interest, and the theft arguably spurred what we could now call the first global security industry. More importantly, the heist also left a mark on art and literature. Renaissance playwrights and chroniclers drew inspiration from the story, weaving similar heists into subplots of their works, showcasing that truth is often stranger and more thrilling than fiction. So there you have it, one of the craftiest criminal acts of the Renaissance, a tale that redefined security, shaped cultural narratives, and turned one forgotten thief into, quite literally, a hidden gem of history. Had you ever heard of the Antwerp diamond affair before today? And can you imagine the impact such an event must have had on the people of its time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales like this one. Who knows, the next story just might leave you equally intrigued. Until then, keep your wits sharp and your locks secure. This has been Historical Hidden Gems, Long, reminding you there's always more to history than meets the eye.